Yes, you can have the mic if you'd like.
I can probably keep up with you. I got a loud voice. All right. Hey, so good morning, everybody. My name's Brad Coles. As you saw in the big picture there, smiling face behind me. I work at HD Supply, and a lot of people don't know HD Supply because it's a business-to-business company. We're a large, diversified industrial distributor, which is a mouthful. What that basically means is we have 6 different business units that distribute a variety of different kinds of products that go into, we say, building your city and keeping it running. We have the nation's largest water and sewer distribution business, and that's all the underground clean water, wastewater, and stormwater product, fire hydrants, all that stuff that keeps your tap water flowing. We have a facilities maintenance business. That's the nation's largest distributor of maintenance, repair, and operations product to multifamily housing and some institutional and medical facilities. And we have our 3rd largest business unit is a construction and industrial unit that's branded as White Cat Construction Supply. You may see those trucks around, and they sell tools and specialty equipment, safety gear for the commercial construction industry, basically. We are a product of acquisition and divestiture. Since I've been here, which is 10 years now, we've been through 45 acquisitions, and we're just signed to divest our 9th business unit. So we've got that underway. We say never a dull moment at HD Supply. I've been the leader of 3 of our business unit IT teams and became the CIO about 6 months ago. So we have just about every platform you could imagine or have had it. And so if you ever want to talk to me about any ERP you can think of, we've been there. So thank you.
Very good. Do you have a supply chain?
We do. We have
Okay, good.
6.
I'm going to ask everybody this, so hopefully they do have a supply chain. Let's start with Puga. Do you have a supply chain?
We are a supply chain.
You help with supply chain.
Yes, exactly.
Good.
Yeah, that's what we do. I mean, I've seen a lot of supply
You have a
chains.
bunch of them. Yeah, there you
I've
go.
seen a lot of supply chains. I mean, in my experience, I've walked through at least 50 distribution centers, end to end. I mean, could be a performance analysis review, or it could be, doing a design end to end, deploying a WMS. I mean, that's my background. So basically, I'm with Smart Gladiator. I'm the principal and co-founder of Smart Gladiator. We are based out of the Advanced Technology Development Center. That's part of Georgia Tech. It's basically an organization that's supported by state of Georgia, that supports all these companies with cool technologies, innovative technology. And what we do is, we mobile enable supply chain. Focusing on the distribution center. So what that means is, we deploy wearables for operators, tablets for supervisors, even tablets for all the users that are running around with their order picker, pallet truck, and forklift, and all that. It's a turnkey deployment. I mean, not just the mobile devices, software, everything. Training and making sure the users are fully able to use the devices and get the productivity gains and cost savings and all that. I mean, my experience is coming from this WMS deployment. It dawned on us that back in 2000 when we did this WMS deployment, we'll go live, and before go live, we'll turn on. We have to make sure garbage in, garbage out, right? Everybody knows that. So you got to make sure really what are the inventory count that goes in the WMS is absolutely correct. So we'll do cycle counts, and at that time we'll use these devices. It'll be so painful. And 10 years after that, 2010, it's the same thing. I mean, we're having all this iPhone, Android, all these cool technologies on our personal lives. Hey, how come the enterprise area is still the same? So that's what led to this idea and the company and all that, and that's how we got started.
Where did the name of the company come from?
In the warehouse space, the devices that they use, those are called gladiators. And what we said, hey, those are dumb gladiators because, if you look at the evolution of the technology, right? I mean, when we started deploying devices in the warehouses, it's really thin client, right? Thin client is just a simple, terminal, a display screen, and that's all we had. And then, the cost of the PCs went down so much, then they started deploying PCs, along with that came additional capabilities, right? So but the gladiators remained as a thin client. All they can do is just one thing, but whereas on the consumer side, it's just the technology kept on, growing leaps and bounds. So we said, hey, we can deploy a smart gladiator.
Nice.
That's how we got started.
Very good. Okay, awesome. Pass the mic. All right, Guru.
Thanks, Puga. Good morning, everyone. My name is Guru Rao. I am the CEO of Nevis, an Atlanta-based enterprise mobile software company. And if you ask why I'm here, just like other panelists here, our heritage has been in supply chain. Personally, I have spent 20 plus years in the supply chain space working for and building companies like Manhattan Associates and in IBM supply chain strategy practice. And so we wanted to build a company on leveraging mobility for enterprises. Just like other, we talked about before, we saw a lot of potential with mobile technology within enterprises, but saw not much going on in the enterprise as far as leveraging that technology goes. So we wanted to bring in that technology, and we are in a very unique place. It's very hard today to find mobile technology vendors with real business expertise. Everybody in the mobile space, because it's cool, it's sexy, it's great, but they don't know ABCD about what is running behind the firewall within the enterprise. So we believe mobile technology is much more beyond a mobile app, if you will. Right? So we'll talk more about it, and that's what we bring to the table as Newbiz. And we have been in business for 5 years, and we are based in Atlanta.
Awesome.
And appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
All right, Rob.
Good morning. My name is Rob Uppard. I am a co-founder of Track Blue. We are out of Atlanta here locally and New Hampshire as well. And we're in the hardware and complete IoT, Internet of Things solutions. We do wireless sensors and relays. They go about 200 to 300 feet in distance, and we read them with free software downloadable on smartphones, tablets, and have a few projects right now going strong with drones, actually, that are reading them as well. So we're doing some very interesting projects. We do everything from tracking beef cattle and their health in the supply chain. We're embedded in plastic totes that monitor, for instance, move management and commercial moves. We have sensors in medical. Now when you punch out a blister pack, we know it in the cloud. And so if you forget to take your meds, we can remind you, or if you punch out too many Oxycontins or whatever, we might let you know that too on that. So a complete set of sensors coordinated with the relays, and it can go to smartphone technology, tablet technology. We do have some very low-cost fixed infrastructure if you so desire as well.
Awesome. And I think one of your devices is making the mic buzz because it's near you or something. I'm not really sure.
Actually,
Here we go.
Actually,
It might be me.
don't think so. I'm in the corner.
I was kidding.
Although somebody picked up my bag in the corner and I was in the back room and immediately I knew it. So.
Oh, no way! No way! That's awesome. So you can put your bag anywhere and you're going to find it.
Exactly.
That's phenomenal. Okay. So here's our first question. So let's say I have a friend with a problem. Okay. For years, this friend of mine, they didn't invest very much in supply chain technology, yet they have, 17 fulfillment centers supporting 2,100 stores and have the very, very decrepit, antiquated technology when it comes to managing the supply chain. So when I go to this friend and he says, oh my God, where do I start? I'd love to know where should this friend start? And please don't bill this friend for this conversation. Just give this friend advice right now, if you could. Now you know why I'm moderating, by the way. I bet it's at least $300 an hour for each one of you. So I think I'm probably getting about $5,000 today in free advice. So Rob, you start. Where does somebody start with getting their supply chain fixed?
Well, I'll be brief and certainly pass along. One of the things we don't believe in is just technology for technology's sake. One of the mistakes a lot of people do is, okay, this is the latest and greatest, it's fancy technology, so I'm going to try to put this in and force fit it. And as Michael Hammer said back in the re-engineering days, don't pave the cow paths with technology. So if you have a bad process that you're trying to overlay technology on, no matter how good the technology is, it's still not going to give you your improvements. So the first thing you need to take a look at is, okay, how do I take a look at the operations part, and how do I rethink it based upon real-time information? And that's critical as a first step. Don't just jump into the technology side.
All right, I agree with you.
I think one of the things, since we are talking about mobility specifically here, technology-wise, where do you look at mobility? First thing that comes to my mind is your field workforce that is mobile, right? Traditionally, you could not or you cannot have provided solutions through traditional solutions using any other technology are the right candidates for mobile solutions. So that's where I would focus on first. And specifically, going out of the enterprise, beyond the enterprise with your extended partners that have been very difficult to get information from or get them on the same level playing field. So you start there. So if based on our experience today, most of the mobile technology applications or technology projects are going towards visibility, real-time visibility, right? Unless I know what's going on, I cannot do anything about it, right? That's where, in my mind, mobile technology comes to play. And also, mobile technology is creating a level playing field for small, medium, and large, all kinds of enterprises. Because of the cost of technology is so cheap, the solution development, so it creates a level playing field for all kinds of enterprises, and that's the beauty of it.
Awesome, that's good. And you were ready to answer, so this is going to
Yeah.
be a great answer here.
The reason I was ready to answer because I just wrote a blog on this thing. I mean, it's going to be coming most likely this week or next week. I mean, the two things that stood out in the question is one is legacy system, right? Because this guy is running this legacy system for a long time. The second thing is he's a retailer, right?
Could
So,
be. I didn't
could
say
be a
that.
retailer.
Yeah.
You said retail. You said
That's
store.
store.
Exactly.
Could be restaurants, you never know.
That's fine. I mean, that's fine. I think what the two things that those are the two things that stood out, right? I mean, from a VP or CIO perspective, I'm looking at it. Hey, I got to, I have this legacy thing system. I mean, ERP or whatever WMS supply chain software that's supporting this supply chain network. I want to, come up with. I mean, that's two things that stood out. But I mean, when you're attempting to do something, it's all about the pain. It's all about the problem you're trying to solve, and it's all about where you're going, right? I mean, if I go and talk to a supply chain software vendor, the response is going to be, hey, you guys have to upgrade, right? That only then you can take advantage of all this latest technologies out there, right? That's a typical response from a supply chain software vendor. Whereas, if you go and talk to a business partner, he's going to say, we got to be doing omnichannel. Because that's what is going on right now. I mean, people are expecting, cross-channel, seamless, shopping experience. I want to be able to go to a store, pick up my product. If it's not there, I want to be able to place an order right there, and then get it delivered to my home, or, give me something where, or, can I, on my way back home, I mean, if we don't have anything, can I place an order in my mobile phone? Right? So that's what it's all about. So it depends on what you're trying to accomplish and what is the pain. It's typically the pain is where the starting point is. But in fact what we do is we work very well with legacy technologies. You don't necessarily have to do this big bang upgrade for this 17 distribution centers in order to take advantage of all this latest mobile technologies. So do research. I mean, talk to us and we'll help you. But focus on the pain and then take it from there. That's what we would I would do.
Awesome. Now, so let's pass the mic to Brad. So Brad, you've probably at HD Supply, somebody's asked and answered this question at least 45 times. It sounds like in the past few years. So how do you guys approach it when you have one of those acquisitions, and where do you start and what do you figure out? Maybe it's a combination of everything we've already heard.
Yeah, I won't repeat a lot of it, I agree with what was said. The biggest point being, focus on where the pain is. And a cool thing about HD Supply, I said we have 6 different supply chains because we have 6 business units. And when you look, if we talk strictly inside the fulfillment centers for a minute, which is where we're kind of focusing right now, we have 6 different, what I would call supply chain velocities. We have large distribution centers that are each doing 10,000 picks a day. We have, average tickets $90, and we have small branches that are like distribution centers that are doing 10 orders, maybe 30 picks a day, completely different animal, average ticket $1,800, large materials.
Let's talk about that one, by the way. That's more interesting.
Yeah, you don't need the same stuff, right? So if you try to force fit a transportation management system or a voice, like we use pick to voice in our big distribution centers, and talk about mobility, the people are talking to SAP at like hyper speed through their headphones saying pick 2, grab 3, place 2. It's crazy if you ever watch a pick to voice system in action. But on the other end, we still use dot matrix printers and multi-part forms and bins, and you know what? I wouldn't stick any technology in the middle of that. We've looked at it and we tried, but because there's a high barrier to entry to put that infrastructure in place, it's generally not worth it because you're not going to get rid of half a guy, or whatever. I am intrigued by technology like what Smart Gladiator's doing because it's lowering the bar, the barrier to entry. You don't maybe need to put in expensive, wireless infrastructure and expensive scan guns. Maybe you can use consumer-grade devices and they're easy enough to learn that you could add some productivity without a huge investment. So I think it depends a lot on that velocity in your particular supply chain.
Yeah, good. Okay, so pass the mic down to Guru, and I have a question for Guru. So you said that the playing field is a little bit level now relative to what it used to be. What has contributed to that? Is it some consumerization? What is driving that?
That's a great point. One thing is, everybody talk about what is gamification. I like to call it consumerization of business processes or business solutions. I'll give you this quick thing that I was talking to a VP of transportation of a pizza company. They deliver products to their stores. They have thousands of stores, both self-owned and franchisee stores. And they have problems tracking their deliveries and knowing where things are and what have you. So they were in a meeting with these franchisee owners and they were talking about all these problems, and one guy stands up and says, hey, if I ask for a taxi, the taxi company tells me exactly based on knowing where I am, it tells me where the taxi is, when I can expect the taxi, to the minute. And why can't you guys do something like that? Right? You are a multi-billion-dollar company. Why can't you do something like that for us? You can track our deliveries, tell us exactly where our deliveries are at any point in time, right? So this is what I call consumerization of business processes. A lot of what we do on our day-to-day life today, we expect when we get into our offices, when we get into our workplace, we expect the same solution. So in a way, we are bringing all that into our work, and also expecting our enterprises to do that. So going back to level playing field, mobility is made for cloud. So one is on the front end where we are talking about the devices, so you don't have to buy $1,200, $1,500 devices anymore. Everyone carries a smartphone with them, right? And then the software applications can run in the cloud, so you can bring the technology and bring the benefit of the technology to your end users in a matter of days and months versus years, right? So that's what is changing the whole game. And then, that's what brings the visibility and the benefits that come with it.
Very good. All right, pass it down to Rob right there. So, so when we talk about consumerization, when I think of consumerization and some of the things that we see with phones, the apps that we have on our phone. So I'm used to having Evernote, and I'm used to having Twitter, and I'm used to having Link. And when I think of supply chain automation, supply chain technology, I was in our Phoenix fulfillment center a week ago today, and they were saying, well, we've got to change how our shifts are going because guys are bumping into each other. And to me, that sounded like a technology problem, that we're not efficiently optimizing how we're picking and things like that. But so we're used to just traditional supply chain management. What are you seeing now in the future around collaboration and going deeper into knowing who's doing what and reacting real time, and some of the things that we're used to with social media and the phones that we have around us?
Certainly now with the greater proliferation of real-time data, we're seeing where you can remotely monitor events either locally or nationwide on that from a browser. You can see shelf inventory remotely. You can see other aspects and get real-time alerts on your smart device at any time. So now, rather than wait for a problem to surface a couple days later, you'll get a real-time alert. If a truck is driving a cooled refrigerant payload and the trucker, to save gas, turns off his cooling going over the Rocky Mountains to save the gas supply chain, you'll know it immediately on that, and hopefully you can take action to prevent ruining that supply chain shipment. And so I think the real-time down to active alerts is really changing how we can monitor and prevent spoilage and other errors.
Is the expectation of the consumer greater now that they're used to other types of things?
The consumer is certainly a just-in-time, real-time, used to a very short attention span with real-time updates, and they expect the businesses they deal with to operate in the same manner. And so it's important for us to provide that level of service.
Okay, good. All right, pass it down to Puga. Okay, and hold on before I ask a question. So this would be a great time for you to think of a question, because after Puga talks, I'm going to ask for a question. However, I want you to offer the most compelling question. So don't raise your hand unless you have a compelling question, one that would rival the next question that I'm about to ask. Okay? So, but do think about the question, and then I'm going to ask Puga a question right here. So, you talked a little bit when I followed up on where you got the name of the company, but what makes, I mean, you mentioned thin versus shifting some of that intelligence, but what makes something smarter in the supply chain, and why is now the right time for us to introduce smarts? Why is now the right time to make that transition?
Great question. I think what has happened is in the supply chain, supply chain is not sexy. Retailers, if you go to NRF, the experience is completely different, from, if you go to Proman, right? I mean, that's from my perspective. I mean, if you obviously know, it's much more exciting to be working in a, Urban Outfitters store or in a Nordstrom rather than, in the back office, moving boxes, right? So supply chain is not sexy. So what has happened is, there is a stagnation that's happened in terms of technology adoption. If you look at our personal life, I mean, iPhone, all these mobile devices, came up. I mean, it launched in 2007, and people are used to it now. Everybody is much more comfortable with an iPhone. Everybody is much more comfortable with an iPad, and they see those advantages in their real life. I mean, I do FaceTime with my daughter. We all text each other. I mean, both in office environment as well as within our friends and family. So we see the benefits of doing those. Those are just common sense. Hey, why can't I do that in a operation setting where I'm working with a team of people? I got to make sure this $1 million shipment needs to get out by 5 p.m. or 4 p.m. today, right? So it's common sense. When we the evolution, based on what we have observed, all these IT managers, they tried to deploy it at some point in time. 2010, 2011, they tried it, but they weren't successful because everyone was trying on their own, basis with whatever day job that they got to do, and then, whatever time they can spend on it, And these devices, I mean, obviously these are consumer devices weren't really made for a warehouse environment. So that's where we saw the opportunity, and it used to be a pretty consistent session in every, supply chain conference last few years. And everybody will have some kind of a question, and there'll be some kind of a frustration. We've been seeing that, and we said, hey, why can't we take that? And then we do a good job. I mean, let's make it, really rugged. Let's make it, it's really user-friendly from an enterprise perspective. So, people are used to this technology in their personal lives. They see the benefits, and they see the, opportunity for that in an enterprise environment. So when we went and showed this, hey, here's what we have, and it was a no-brainer. Wow, if I can reach my supervisor, typically all these distribution centers are, anywhere from 4,000 square feet to a million plus, right? And when I am walking from one corner to the other corner because I wasn't able to pick this product, because the label was not correct, the location was messed up, the SKU product itself was broken, I'm wasting 15, 20 minutes just walking from one corner to the other corner. I mean, that's, wasted, unproductive travel time. So if I can text from where I am and talk to my supervisor, or if I can do FaceTime from where I am, talk to my supervisor, and, hey, get it clarified, that's time savings. So it was common sense. I mean, it was no-brainer. You can do all this. When we said that, and you're working in a collaborative setting, I mean, you can, supervise and get tablets. It's so many people tried all this by themselves, but failed because there was nobody to support. So we came in and said, hey, we can do a good job supporting this thing. That's how.
So it's pretty much Snapchat for the supply chain, right? No, I'm kidding. That was good. Okay, pass the mic to Brad here. Okay, so I have an amazing question for you, but I'm going to take a risk that one of you might have a probably mediocre question that you think is amazing. So Does anybody have a question they wanted to ask? No. You can't be good, Todd. I know better. Hold on.
We'll give a grade on it too.
We do what?
We'll give a grade on it.
Absolutely. There you go. Okay. I might let you. No, you absolutely can't. Right there. I have much more confidence in him than Todd.
That's really misplaced. You talked about not taking the step to modernize some of those legacy systems. You know, what things you'll do maybe is to just integrate those systems. Is that part of the strategy to just tie those together and cut out some of the human interfaces with software integration?
Yeah, I think it's a great question because what mobility allows you to do, if you have a number of foundational systems, they generally do their job. You've got ERPs,